Welcome to Fort Fritz, your one-stop for news, current events, and all forms of entertainment relating to the paranormal, the supernatural, the Fortean, and things that go bump in the night, all packaged and presented in the form of know-nothing know-it-alls entertaining the unknown. Hello, I'm your host Fritz, and for the next hour, I will be joined by co-host Mandaddy.
Hi.
And Kaz.
Well, hey now.
Angela has the night off. I will start with this. There is a very funny, and when I say funny, not funny at all, to people involved, haunting that is going on in an antique store right now in England.
Well, that seems appropriate.
Right?
If it was the same place,
If it was like a Radio Shack and like Poughkeepsie, you'd be like, all right, no, that's not that cool. But like antique store, England.
Are there any Radio Shacks in Poughkeepsie?
If you're in Poughkeepsie, reach out to us. Let us know about your local Radio Shack.
Fritz at realradio.fm. So this is from mysteriousuniverse.org, and the title of this article is CCTV footage shows paranormal activity in haunted antiques store. This is absolutely frightening. So this store was a 19th century funeral parlor.
Right,
and
good
then
start.
obviously you turn that into an antique store and you have a
Because it already
ghost.
is one.
Exactly. You have a ghost who is breaking just all sorts of stuff. So just head over to realradio.fm. You see one object get knocked off of the shelf and someone walking over going, what?
Oh,
And then you see
just random thing just dropping off.
a statue being knocked off. I don't know what the hell that was.
Yeah,
That
it
was
Like
frightening.
a book or something like fell off,
And then
like flapped.
you see something right here run across the store. This is around the 22-second mark. You see this object start, and then you see an entity. Look at that.
Whoa, what the heck,
What
dude?
was
That was
that?
messed up.
Again,
What
That was
20,
like Samara.
22-second mark, you see an entity form and run across.
Whoa, that's really weird.
And
I'm
like
Yes.
see some people kind of pick up on it and go, what the hell was that? Like looking
that was
around.
weird.
This is a super compilation of things that have happened in this antique store. This guy doesn't know what's going on. Look, he's like, oh, what the hell?
He
That's
immediately,
probably-
that's a real reaction. He immediately called over the people like, yo, get over here. Something just happened. Like, what was that?
That's probably all the ghost stuff. You know, that's all
like,
their
this
stuff.
is-
They're like,
this is
dude,
me. This is
that's
me.
my cup. I'm
You
gonna
don't
throw
know
my cup
that.
across the
You
river.
don't know that for real.
I do.
So, oh my God, and something else falls.
Almost
that
hit that dude
same
in the head,
location. Realradio.fm, shows and blogs. Click on Fritz. Another camera angle. Look at this. It's like a Rube Goldberg design.
Yeah, that's
You see this smoke cloud over this light fixture. So yeah, again, realradio.fm. Something is happening at this antique store,
Yeah,
right?
that entity thing. That was really interesting.
so
that was chilling.
Good. Please check out this video because it absolutely, to me, definitively, I think, shows what a haunting can be. So that is realradio.fm. Now, advanced life may exist, says a couple of scientists. This is from soulask.com.
Soul ask.
The title is Advanced Life May Exist in a Form That's Beyond Matter. So after watching that video, it seemed like there was something that was still alive and at least cognizant enough to be aware of its surroundings.
It did seem to have an intelligence to it, I guess maybe you could say, or a purpose at least. Maybe not intelligence.
seemed to be a goal.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Ghosts aren't. You know, they're just purpose. They're not spirit. They're not will. They're just purpose.
Thank you for
Like,
saying that.
I've got to knock that book over, otherwise I have nothing to do today.
So according to this soulask.com article, the first paragraph, astrophysicist Paul Davies at Arizona State University suggests that advanced technology might not even be made of matter, that it might have no fixed size or shape, have no well-defined boundaries. And what we just saw would kind of harbor back to that. So this article posits centuries ago, no one would think that we have this electron collecting unit in our pockets and in our hands every day that is uploading and downloading data.
Mostly pictures of cats.
So if we could evolve to that state of having a higher brain functioning that can upload and download electrons independent of the technology. For instance, everyone is not wearing blue blocker glasses and they're just walking around and seeing everything that is technologically driven. It could hurt your eyes over time in theory, right?
Oh, I've been doing a job where I'm staring at a computer screen a lot more, and I can feel it.
Yep.
Where it's like, I need to get some of them blue blockers. This is just getting one eye. My one eye is getting to me.
My one good eye.
My one good eye. I can't see out of it. I can't even walk. Got a bad eye.
You can make that distinction between advanced alien technology, let's say 1 billion years ago, right? Like operating on the current human hive mind format. So let's say our culture is becoming more and more in touch with this advanced technology. How would we evolve into it, and how would we evolve away from it?
I mean, it's definitely affecting us. There's actually a study where children are developing a calcium deposit in the back of their necks, a little plate, from looking down at their devices so much. And so they're already having effects on our bodies, much less the horrible impact it's had on society.
Yeah, and that's all. I don't know if it kicks the can down the road, but is technology-based evolution good?
I think that the concept of evolution you don't get to say good or bad. It is. It is.
Thank you for saying that.
Happened based on the factors, environmental, societal, whatever that we're dealing with. So yeah, I think that it is a product of like you said, increased exposure to these devices. However, I would say that, you said all the horrible things it's done, and yes, it has, reduced a lot of art forms and a lot of like our communication to something a little bit more rudimentary than what it used to be, but it also expanded the world has shrunk so much.
Yeah.
Like we
but
get
is
access
it in a good way?
Yeah, like the quickness with which thought gets to travel the world now is unprecedented. Like
yes,
somebody gets to have an idea in Asia that is here within minutes, and everyone's thinking about the same thing.
Yep.
Industries,
but lies can do the same thing.
Absolutely,
That's the sad thing.
But also news, right?
It gives everyone the ability to prove anything as true because they can find something that confirms it.
Kaz has an advanced knowledge of the kind of inner workings of systems, especially computer systems. He's a coder. He's a very, very bright man.
Got a little something under the belt, you know what I mean? I can can get dangerous behind a computer.
I will end with this soulask.com paragraph. If civilizations are millions or billions of years older than us, many would be vastly more intelligent than we are. By our standards, many would be super intelligent. We are galactic babies.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Totally heard this,
yeah.
Yeah. Because we're closer to the center of the universe, right? That's the whole thing. Like we are closer to what they believe to be
the Big Bang.
Yeah, the breadbasket,
the Milky Way. The Milky Way galaxy is at least 13 billion years old. They think that the entire cosmos is around 14. So we are one of the infants.
Right.
So I now leave you with two stories. This is from coasttocoastam.com.
Nice.
Fairy friends oppose Scottish fish farm. So the idea behind this is that a proposed fish farm might harm fairies that a local community thinks exists in this pond.
And this is what country?
This is in Scotland.
Okay. Yeah, in Scotland, they believe in some fairies.
And they think that these fairies, every 100 years, the moon doth rise, and they bathe in said moonlight, and then they trick men to their death with promises of gold and treasures. And because of that, they don't want a fish farm.
If you got a fish farm, you don't need golden treasures, bro.
Thank
you.
you.
Fish. Yeah.
Then we end with this. One church.
just a quick dab into the fairy culture and then on our way.
Because the fairy culture is just that. It's a fairy culture. It's endemic really to Scotland and surrounding areas. And the fairy culture, no one can really pinpoint, number one, what it is or what it is not. We end with a church. It's been repeatedly vandalized by Satanists. So this is Grimsby, Grim.
Are they in Norway?
They are not.
The same question.
They are not. Grimsby, Grimsby, telegraph.co.uk, and the article is entitled "Church Repeatedly Vandalized by Satanists Who Perform Animal Sacrifices and Supernatural Ceremonies." Mandaddy, let me start with you.
Okay.
What are your thoughts about Satanists?
It depends. There's a definite...
Good answer.
Yeah, there's a lot of different sides and types of Satanists. You have Satanists that follow Anton LaVey, and that's just Hollywood Satanism. That's basically, you want to summon the devil, have an orgy. You want to, trap a demon, have an orgy.
Right.
And then the true Satanists don't believe in an actual Satan. the only people that believe in an actual Satan are Christians.
Yep.
Satanists don't believe in an actual Satan. And that's one thing that Christians have a hard time getting through their heads. You know, there's just like how every group of religions have different fringe sides of them. Everyone knows Christians that are great people, and they use it to lift everybody up. And there's other people that they use their Christianity to judge upon everyone else.
That doesn't mean that one rotten apple is going to ruin it for the entire tree.
Right.
This is the opening paragraph. A village church has repeatedly been vandalized by Satanists, in quotes, who perform animal sacrifices and supernatural ceremonies. The church is St. Botolph's, Botolphs, St. Botolph's Church in Skidbrook. That's near Louth. And it's said to be one of the most haunted churches in Lincolnshire. This is in England. GrimsbyTelegraph.co.uk reached out to the local Satanists. And they said, number one, it's another smear campaign. We do not do that. Number one, we don't believe in harming living people or living entities, period.
Don't hurt.
I end with that story because we start off with a closed caption TV footage of this haunting in an antique store that was a funeral parlor. And then we have advanced evidence of life that might exist in a form outside of matter. We kind of like barrel rolled over it. But if one community or culture believes in fairies, that doesn't mean it's incorrect. And then we have this one church who is subjugating an entire population of quote unquote Satanists, because let's be honest, that sells.
Yes, it does.
That doesn't mean that's what's happening. So to go back to the advanced life form, if we are evolving with technology, there's no life form on this earth that is doing that. We are not evolving. We are using our technology in a malicious way to subjugate further. And that's ugly. That is not what humanity should be doing. You're listening to Fort Fritz right here on Real Radio 104.1.
Fort Fritz on Real Radio 104.1.
Welcome back to Fort Fritz right here on Real Radio 104.1. I am your host, Fritz, always joined by the consummate professional Mandaddy.
Hi.
And Kaz.
Hey.
We are an iHeart radio station. Go ahead and download that absolutely free iHeart radio app and search Fort Fritz. You'll see little bite-sized nuggets of morsels called the Campfire Tales, and also these broadcasts right here on Real Radio 104.1, including our audio dramas, which are around an hour long. And we have some really, really exciting news. We are starting season 4 with an hour-long episode about, I don't want to get into it because you have to wait.
You gotta wait.
Mandaddy, what would you like to talk about?
I got a few things. I've got a show that is just now starting and a show that is now departing.
About what?
So I'll start off with the departing show. And they just had the season, or it's not the season, but the series finale of The Good Place. And I loved that show.
Oh, that's got
Ted
Danson's
in it.
one?
Damn it.
And Kristen Bell. Is it Kristen Bell? Yeah.
Kristen Bell.
Kristen Bell.
Oh,
She's
God.
tiny. She's
Dex-
so tiny.
So great.
Deck Shepard points.
It's just a delightful show. If you don't know about it, it's about basically a person who wasn't the greatest person at all, played by Kristen Bell, named Eleanor, dies and goes to heaven. And it's just about the afterlife, and there's a lot of twists and turns. It's a lot of good comedy. It's a lot about philosophy, which is really interesting to me. And a lot of people like to talk about how, oh, I'm such a Rachel, or I'm such a Joey, or, you know, what type of person you are. I'm a Chidi Atagonye, because that's one of the main characters of the show. His name is Chidi Atagonye, and I understand this guy way too much. He has a hard time making decisions. He overthinks everything. He describes sometimes the sound in his brain like being a fork in a garbage disposal.
Oh,
and
God.
I totally understand. That's what it feels like to me sometimes. So they had the series finale recently, and
So it's done.
it's over. It is now
Whoa,
over.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
now over, and
Series finale.
Yeah, it was a series finale. It's completely over. It just it happened over last week, and it was. I mean, it was great. It was well done and everything, but it was somber. It was a very not necessarily sad, but a somber ending.
A show about death. Huh.
That's a somber ending.
Yeah, who would have
What do you know?
I guess I
You know what?
should have seen it coming.
Kudos for a group of people who are making a successful TV show to decide, let's end it.
Yes.
And let's not do fan service, and let's end it the way we want to end it, and let's, you know what, take it how you will. They gave you a lot of moments that were very funny, but then the end was something that you weren't really expecting, but memorable, right? Like, it's something
Well,
you're gonna.
I guess if you think about it, it's like, well, how could they end the show?
Right.
You know, because it's a
She
show
goes
that
to hell.
Yeah, from the good place. Yeah, she goes to hell.
Yeah. Well, just like how I think the TV show Shameless would end, I think that the TV show Shameless should end like within the next season or two, and they should have Frank get murdered because he's such a horrible character.
Okay, so going
he's
back,
earned it.
Going back to the good place.
But the good place, it was a good ending. It did wrap up everything you could want it to wrap up everything. It was just the whole episode has just had a somber feel to it, and it wasn't. I don't know. It kind of took me aback.
I feel like, I mean, you've written a story before. Like, any ending is going to feel unsatisfying because the experience was the story, and that's what you're so engaged with. You want more of that. You're never going to want it to end. So as a writer, as a storyteller, you have to decide, okay, to do justice to the story that I've just done, I need to provide some type of, closure to this. And I imagine that it's difficult to make everyone happy with all the decisions, like,
Of course.
Piece of Stephen King, like, no one really, it's difficult to wrap up a lot of something that people really enjoy because they don't want it to end. You're not going to be satisfied with the ending of something if you really enjoyed the journey, because you don't want that journey to end.
True.
Yeah, for sure.
I wasn't disappointed by it. I wasn't unhappy with it. It just was a lot more somber, like, for the overall, not just the way it ended. The entire episode overall had a kind of somber tone to it. And it still had some funny moments, had some really funny moments, as the show always does. But it was just, I don't know, it felt like an ending. It was an ending, and it felt like an ending,
Okay.
I mean, so I'm sure that's the reason they were doing it, and that's the point of the writers and the showrunners. And it's, Michael Schur, the guy that created Parks and Rec.
Oh, and also The Office.
And he didn't create The Office, but he was a main part of The Office.
Yeah.
He was Moe's.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's Moe's. Moe's made, okay.
Yeah.
Tight.
And so if you've never checked out The Good Place, almost all the old seasons are on Netflix, and the new season is on Hulu, so that means it'll be dropped on Netflix in the next few months. And so check out The Good Place. Absolutely great show.
Beer pulls.
For the show overall, I give it a solid 6 overall.
6?
Yeah, I just love that show. It just spoke to me in some weird way. And now there's a new show, and I couldn't be happier about this, because if there's one thing that this horrible world that is in turmoil and up in flames needs right now, is the return of Jean-Luc Picard.
Oh, yeah, I heard about this.
Picard is back, and the world needs him.
So,
you know what?
I've seen this on the, what is it?
Television.
The Lookie Box?
The Amazon Fire Stick, I think. Tell me about this.
Okay, so it's on CBS All Access, and they put the first. I'm not sure if it's still up, but for a while they put the very first episode up on YouTube, so you can actually check out the first episode.
That's a
for
good
free.
idea. I
Yeah,
like
no
that.
doubt. Hey kid, the first one's always for free.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And it just
That's also true.
First taste for free, baby. You got to come back and pay.
oh yeah.
I
And
didn't
so
even think about that. God.
I had a drug dealer across the
Here we
street
go.
from me.
Here we go.
And he was the worst drug dealer. He had kids come up to his window. This guy was in his 30s, and every so often, groups of teenagers would walk up to his window, talk to him for 10 minutes, and all walk away. It was
What
like,
do
could
you mean
yeah.
bad, terrible? That sounds like the greatest of all time. I don't
Not
understand.
for property values, though.
Oh, yeah.
You don't own. You don't own. That's the problem.
Yeah, no.
Okay, boomer.
Right?
I'm Gen X, and you know it. So Picard being back is just something that no one really could see happening. Brett Spiner back in the day, they've been asking him to do something for Star Trek, and he said that it'd look ridiculous in the makeup now, blah, blah.
Why? Is
Who's
there
Brett
like
Spiner?
Data.
Data, okay.
And so the very first scene, you see Picard and you see Data on in 10 Forward of the Enterprise. It's just nerd heaven. And so the show, it's Picard. He's got the old one last mission to go through sort of thing. And it looks like it's going to be really interesting. I like where it's going. It's got all your elements. A lot of the previous actors are going to be coming back and reprising different roles. 7 of 9 is going to be in it.
Riker?
Riker is going to be in it. Data is already in
Riker?
it.
He's the hot guy.
At number 1. That's
The
his
guy with
first.
the
The goatee and
Yeah.
very rakish.
God,
Well, so you
hot.
have to understand that Riker has two emotions: shaved and unshaved. That's about it. and no one sits in a
Is
chair
that
like
canon?
Riker.
Is that canon?
It
or
is.
is that
It
you
is
just-
now.
Okay.
And whenever Riker sits in a chair, he lifts one leg over the back and sits down. It's a whole other
that
Riker.
is hot
That
as
just
hell.
shows you it's a power move right now.
Yeah, that's a superpower.
This guy's
Yeah.
got something going on. But the show's starting off. There's only 2 episodes out right now, and it's looking great. It's just, I mean, it's Jean-Luc Picard. Who, if you don't love Jean-Luc Picard, you're just, I don't understand.
This is what I was
you.
going to say. I feel like we need this as bald men in our adult life. We need a
leader.
hot bald leader. Like
Go on.
like most, like I won't say most women, but a lot of women got like a daddy thing for Jean-Luc Picard, right? Like he's got the thing. Like everybody's like, oh god, he like run my spaceship all day. Like,
Yeah, I wouldn't say just women. I mean, he's just.
yeah, you know what? Yes, I'm sorry. I apologize. He is an attractive.
He has a
forceful-
presence.
He's
a very good. You ever see the movie Green Room with him?
No.
Ooh, you should see that because first of all, it is an amazing movie, a very, very tense movie.
So Jean-Luc Picard is, of course, the fictional commander of the
Starship Enterprise.
Enterprise, right?
Yeah, 1701D.
Okay, and he's portrayed
Well,
by.
beginning, it gets destroyed later. All you nerds out there, don't give a crap.
He's portrayed by Patrick Stewart. Yeah, 77031. By the way, if you
Yeah,
want to give Mandaddy crap.
you want to talk Trek, bro?
77031. Jean-Luc Picard is a fictional character, but he is portrayed by the very steamy Patrick Stewart.
Also, you know what? I didn't know that the man had such just
Yes.
astute,
Pregnant pauses.
astute comedic chops.
Oh, he's
Because I
hilarious.
watched him in, I listened to him in American Dad. He was Bullock. He was Stan's boss.
Yeah.
And he's
The
fantastic.
machine that turns water into cocaine.
Exactly. He's just perfect.
He's
His
funny as hell,
accent,
yeah.
his timing, he's a very he's good at comedy, and I never really got that from watching Star Trek. I don't know if there were I didn't watch a lot of Star Trek. So I don't know if there were
There's some
comedy
little,
moments.
very little, but subtle in beautiful ways.
Yeah, the guy's
Check him out when he hosted Saturday Night Live a long time ago.
Yeah.
I actually heard about that.
There's one skit where he plays a guy that owns an erotic bakery, but all the cakes are women going to bathroom. That's it.
Okay. Jeez.
All right.
That's every cake.
I would-
And he's like, yes,
Pretty
very erotic. Very erotic.
I would love to hear from our female listeners to Fort Fritz right here on Real Radio 104.1. Text in 77031. Do you think Patrick Stewart is hot? And if you do, tell us why. Is it because of his...
He has that presence. He's got those Shakespearean chops, so he has a confidence about him.
Right, and he makes decisions, and he acts them out. He's like, you know what? Warp speed.
Pregnant pauses?
Right now. If you're Patrick Stewart, you're pregnant pausing, right?
No, that's Shatner. You're thinking more Shatner.
And if you don't think he's all that,
You're
also
wrong.
77031. You're not wrong. Don't listen to Mandaddy on this one. 77031. We will respond back in real time. We will let you know at the end of this episode. Is Patrick Stewart hot?
So, first 2 episodes, Picard, what are you giving it?
I'm really loving it right now. Since it's just starting off, I'm just going to give it a 5. Just going to say it's a solid 5.
Solid 5 off of
it's a
2 episodes.
It looks like it's going
Damn.
good. It's got a lot of great possibilities. They did something that was really cool. That because you have the J.J. Abrams Star Trek movies now, and then you have all the classic television, and so something happened in the J.J. Abrams movie that's a big deal, and they figured out a way to incorporate it into Picard, so it takes those 2 universes and combines them.
This
in
is
a nice
good
way.
writing, baby.
That's good writing right there.
So are all of these episodes already released, or are they weekly?
It's weekly. There's only 2 out right now.
And you said Hulu?
No, it's on CBS All Access.
Oh, well, come on.
Son of a... Yeah,
That's what we've always talked about. There's just too many platforms.
Come on,
There's
CBS.
just too many platforms. And now you're going to have the Peacock. That's the NBC
Oh my
platform.
There's
God,
another
I
one?
know.
And then the one that's going to be taking over everything, a lot of things are going to HBO Max. And HBO Max, that's where I think Friends is going, and a whole bunch of different stuff is going to HBO Max. And that one's going to be more expensive. That one's going to be like $14 or $15 a month, when everything else is like $7 to $10.
I wonder where The Office is landing, because after, I think, 2021, The Office is also going away from Netflix.
That's horrible. I mean, losing Friends is difficult, but losing The Office, come on. If they take Parks and Rec, I am going to have to riot.
I actually thought about this with someone else. I talked about it. Why do they not offer the ability on Netflix, these streaming services, for you to basically buy in? So I want to always have The Office. It doesn't matter when you sunset it. I want to always have it. So I'll pay you whatever the price of the DVD box set is for my Netflix subscription, one-time fee, And now I always have The Office. It's in my favorites. And like, it doesn't matter when you take it on or off. That gives people, somebody was talking to me the other day about this really obscure horror movie that they really love to watch before they go to bed. All the time, and it's being taken.
They
off.
watch an obscure horror movie right before they go to bed.
Yeah,
Every night?
doesn't?
It's so something that they like enjoy doing.
Come on.
Who is this person? I
But
want to
they-
hang out with this person.
Who doesn't do that?
They
Everyone.
and it was a problem because
Shut up,
it's
man.
going off of Netflix, and it's not something that they can regularly find on
The
DVD.
audition. Yeah, it's like just like
Did you
that.
watch the
Audition every
Oh my
night.
Every
God.
night.
Different languages.
That movie. Wow.
By the way, the audition. Yeah. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
Yeah, if
Jesus.
you've never seen that movie, put that in your queue. And
That's, was that Takeshi Miike?
I don't know, but it was absolutely
I think it is. No,
incredible.
I'm not sure.
Please watch it if you have not seen it. Let me just say this. If The Office goes into because it's going to, another streaming platform, when then do you, like Spotify, as Kaz was saying, when do you just buy a DVD player and just get all
Get
of
it,
the...
right, exactly.
Yeah. It's
Physical
going to happen
copies.
to a lot. I wouldn't be surprised if that's already happening with Friends.
Yeah,
Because for a
that's
lot
a
of
good
people,
point.
because a lot of people have, I call them wallpaper shows. They're shows that you're just like when you're at home, if you're be cleaning up, if you're making dinner and you don't want to have something you have to pay attention to, you just want something on. With at my house, it's either The Office, Friends, or
I like
now
that.
Parks and Rec.
Wallpaper shows. I like
Yeah,
that.
it's just the wallpaper. Yeah, you have it on.
Yeah,
You know,
background.
I can recite Parks and Rec now because I've watched it so many times.
Let me just say this. I have every Simpsons DVD up until season 21.
Boom.
And I've only watched the first 11 seasons. Up to actually 15. But that's a good point. You know, once you have those on DVDs, you got them forever. So, Mandaddy, anything else you want to wrap this segment up
No,
with?
if you are a Star Trek fan, you're just gonna love it. It is fan service. It's got a lot of great little Easter eggs and references. It's got some Borg in there, but it's not the Borg you're used to.
By the way, we are getting overwhelming texts right now. 77031.
You guys.
Patrick Stewart is hot.
He just is. And if you're a fan of Patrick Stewart, check out the movie Green Room because it's just an intense thriller.
Is it the
And-
one about the band, the Satanist band or whatever?
And he plays a skinhead Nazi.
And there's
Okay.
one church who thinks
That's the terrible. Back around,
Back
segment
around,
one. Baby.
back.
Hey.
We're going to take a little break, and Kaz is going to tell us about some current event news. You are listening to Fort Fritz right here on Real Radio 104.1.
Sun Fort Fritz on Real Radio 104.1.
Hi, and welcome back to Fort Fritz on Real Radio 104.1. I am your co-host, Mandaddy. Right over there, we got Fritz.
Yellow!
Right over there, we got Kaz. And right now, Kaz has got some stuff he'd like to inform you, so open up your brain, clear out your ear holes. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Kaz
Hey,
time.
Kaz!
Hey, round of applause,
All
everyone.
right, yeah.
Thank you. You know what?
Kaz!
Comic book movies.
Okay,
Yes.
I'm in 'em.
Man, Daddy, you're into it.
I'm in it. Yeah, big time.
I've got a couple that I really enjoy. I'd never really dove into the Avengers kind of lore, but obviously we've talked about it. Blade 2, my favorite comic book movie of all time.
Word.
Thor 3 Ragnarok, I really enjoyed. There are certain ones out there that I really enjoy. But and the universe of comic books is infinite, right? Like you can go into sub stories, alternate universes, different like iterations of different characters, generations, things like that. It can go on for ad infinitum.
I was going to say yes, but to a point where corporate media starts taking it over, and then
Correct.
you have about 20 movies.
And then I think that we're getting to maybe not to the point of saturation in the market, but that people are like, oh yeah, okay, cool, another comic book movie, like that'll be whatever, you know. Like
So
they're
that's
gonna
why
do
Marvel took a
Sandman.
little bit of a break. If you
And I've
notice,
heard of
since
that, yeah.
Endgame, they don't have anything coming out until May, and that's Black Widow.
Right. Which I saw the trailer for. It looks all right. I was arguing the other day with you guys, actually, that I think that the next evolution of these nostalgic, kind of like, you know, more mature adaptations of things that you enjoyed as a child is going to be the video game movies. And
Which have been really hit or miss.
correct,
Mostly miss.
mostly miss, and that is that's a historical, I think, knock against the the idea of the genre of a video game movie. But I will say, and I was going to start this off with, from my perspective, two of the greatest are Super Mario Brothers, Bob Hoskins, John Leguizamo, and Dennis Hopper. Well, it's a tour de force, okay?
It's just not a Super Mario. It's a weird movie.
It's a weird movie, and it's good. It has little to do with. I loved it. Bob Hoskins, Leguizamo, Hopper,
Riff
practical effects.
I mean, what else do you need, really?
Yeah. I loved it. I thought it was weird.
How old
were you? Stuck with whatever, 9. I don't know. So
how old are you?
Like 9 mentally.
Another one I really, really enjoyed, and actually the sequel wasn't that bad either, was the Mortal Kombat movie.
Yes, those were not bad.
Christopher Lambert. There was a couple other people in there.
And it had just enough tongue-in-cheek without going overboard.
It was
like
the
how
right mix.
Like how the Street Fighter movie went a little
You know
overboard.
what? That you brought it up. Loved the Street Fighter movie.
You would.
Van Damme, Kylie Minogue as Cammy.
Yeah.
Come on.
Okay.
Raul Vega?
Raul Julia was M. Bison, which is a strange casting because M. Bison's like this enormously buff jack dude, and Raul Julia is like this, svelte, attractive Portuguese man. I don't know what he was.
He actually, and this is just
a nice assumption of the Portuguese, though.
He actually signed up for that movie because his nephews were massive fans of that movie.
That has happened to so many stars. You'll find so many stars get involved with these franchise movies that they've never heard of because they have either their kids want them to do it to look cool, or they have a nephew or something like that. And that seems to be like a big thing.
What better reason?
I digress. Who cares?
So Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, those were 90s movies that when, Super Mario Brothers 90s movies that attempted to cash in early on the video, and that's when the entertainment form of video games was just starting to catch on as like a mainstream thing, kind of in the mid to late 90s. It was something that
it's not actually a fad anymore. It's a real thing.
I read that Mortal Kombat 2 was the first video game to surpass box office movie sales in arcade purchases for that year.
Mortal Kombat 2?
Mortal Kombat 2. Actually, to the point where it was one of the first arcade consoles that had a locking mechanism on the back because people were stealing the motherboard out and like hooking it up to like basically have Mortal Kombat 2 at their house.
I didn't know that.
To set up a little,
crafty
emulator thing. An example of something that is kind of caught on in more recent media culture was The Witcher. Everyone really enjoyed that. It was like,
but that's the books.
Yes.
And so that had the story is more the books, the look is more like a game.
Correct. The content was game. The story was the books,
but that's
what the game was based on the book. So it is ultimately goes all the way back to the books. But the aesthetic, the things that were happening, his tone of voice, the different the way he would pop like a little potion thing and drink it or whatever. That was all very video gamey. Had footprints in the books, but went into actually the video game styling of how that stuff was portrayed in his little spells. And
I haven't finished The Witcher.
It was good.
I haven't heard anything negative about that entire video game franchise.
The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt.
Can you hop into that one?
Yeah, just jump into Witcher 3.
So is it
because they also do like a little
is it hardcore RPG or is it more action RPG?
It's very hard. It's not
difficult.
It's not D&D hardcore.
What he's asking, Kaz, is can you play it on very easy?
Oh, you little bastard! I will break you over my knee even though my back is broken.
Am I wrong?
You know what? Put them on very easy before you try to break them over your knee, dog.
I'll break you both. I'll take you both on right now, hobbled as I am.
So Witcher 3, I would say jump right in because it's done by Warner Brothers Games. So, and I don't know if it's just me projecting onto it, but I definitely saw the Batman Arkham game engine in that. What I like most about it is something that I enjoy about consuming, Eastern media and stories is the little fairy tales and stuff are very much different than what you're used to consuming because it is this Norwegian folklore stuff and these concepts and these monsters and these things that they're encountering are kind of foreign to what we understand.
And what is this game again?
This is The Witcher 3, The Wild Hunt, which was the full, all the DLC and stuff together. And that's, straight up 150 something hours of gameplay. So if you want to play a game for the rest of your life, go ahead and pick up The Witcher 3.
The last thing I need right now is another game. I'm in the middle of so many games right now.
It's an enormous game. But so The Witcher 3 was an adaptation that was released on Netflix recently and that people really enjoyed and caught on. And it was stylized correctly. It had the correct flavor of the game in addition to being palatable to people that just didn't know anything about any of that and just wanted to watch a kind of fantasy action thing. So Netflix, I believe, has been listening to somebody at Netflix has been listening to Fort Fritz because we've been talking about this for a while, but that video game adaptations are going to take over from my perspective over the comic book kind of wave that's come out. And
by the way, the Witcher had 8 nominations in the 2016 British Academy Games Awards.
Nice.
So the BAFTA of the video games back in 2016, it had 8 nominations.
Yeah, the game is spectacular. The
and
story.
Now Netflix kind of goes, okay, right, we're going to pick that one up.
Right. So Netflix, in that similar vein, is allegedly, it hasn't been officially confirmed yet by anyone, but is picking up the Resident Evil franchise for a series.
Please do it right.
That's another one that we talked about.
Resident Evil on Netflix?
Right. And they're going to be 60-minute long, according to the leak, 60-minute long episodes. And it's going to be entering production sometime in June this year.
And this was
we'll probably
leaked
see it sometime next year. This was leaked recently, within
February
the last,
4th.
Yeah, leaked Tuesday, and I'm excited about this because I was a fan of the first Resident Evil movie with Mila Jovovich.
It did go off the rails. After
it was
a bit.
good, but it didn't. Like we said, it didn't get to the core of what was cool about the game. The game
it had
was
Easter eggs in where you're like, oh, there's that.
That's
Oh, there's that, but
game.
it wasn't enough.
Exactly. It was the movie was an action sci-fi kind of romp. And the game or the experience of playing Resident Evil is it's survival horror. The whole point is
absolutely,
solitary kind of depression, tense. You're against. There's no one with you. There's you don't have cool machine guns or whatever. You're in this thing and you got to try to get out.
Yeah, well, I have the Chicago typewriter right now in Mercenaries.
Well, yeah, if you get cool at Resident Evil, then you get cool at Resident Evil. But I will say that the games kind of started to follow that same thing. So like Resident Evil 1 was a classic. If you never played it, pick it up. It's classic survival horror. Resident Evil 2 to me was the pinnacle.
Perfect.
The remake came out. I think we talked about it. Mr. X shows up in
the remake. Yeah, just a couple of weeks ago.
Just completely ruins my gameplay experience because he's so scary. I can't deal with him.
It's just always coming for you.
Resident Evil 3 Nemesis is getting a reboot coming up very shortly. That'll be available on PS4. So once that comes out, I'll do a review on that. But the games kind of followed Resident Evil 4, 5, and 6. Followed this kind of action bend where it was like missile launchers and quick time events and things like that. Resident Evil 7, Biohazard was the one that was first person. It supported VR and it was
terrifying,
like what we talked about. It wasn't here's a 4 shotguns with incendiary ammo. It was here's a gun. You don't have enough ammo to kill that moth. So run away from everything, and everything can kill you. Yeah. And it's the feeling of being chased and trapped and isolated, and that's what made that game so cool. So
this streaming adaptation of Resident Evil on Netflix, filmed in South Africa.
It's going to be entering production in June. The hub of production being based in South Africa. So I don't know if the story takes place in South Africa, but it might be the area, the locale. Resident Evil 5 was the one that actually took place in Africa, and that was one of the more action-y. Yeah. A lot of it was just running around, shooting things, blowing things up, which to me, fine. It looked good. If that's what you want to do, then fine. But Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 1 and 2, those are the ones that nailed the idea of why I'm playing this game. I want survival horror. I want to kind of feel like I'm working against an entire building full of things that are trying to kill me, instead of this being this action guy is jumping through lasers and whatever.
I wonder if that's the better narrative though for a TV show. Maybe
so. That's what I think. Like if that's what you want, watch whatever Running Man or something. Watch an action sci-fi thing. Like if we're gonna make a Resident Evil show, it's about survival horror. It's about these isolated people against these like insurmountable odds, and what do they go through in that. I actually
and don't make it a Walking Dead clone.
No, exactly.
No, my God, please don't. Please stop.
We're done with Walking Dead. Enough. Darabont, wherever you are, you listen to me. Look at me. Look at me.
Yeah. How about this?
Through your radio. God, I've been watching
it turned into Call of Duty, the show.
Yes.
Every single episode was.
It really was.
I can't get left.
Perfect.
When the main guy left, I can't even think of his name. It's been so long.
It's just everyone just shooting each other with.
When Rick left, that's when we left.
You have to capitalize on that isolationism.
Yes.
So having said that, Mandaddy, let's kick everyone out of the fort.
All right, it's time to get out of here. But before we get out here, you want to check out, like you should, maybe we'll actually validate your parking as well, where we have you check out things that we think you should check out. Hey, Fritz, what should the people check out this week?
Young Money. Wheezy.
No. Oh, yeah.
Lil
Did
Wayne.
you check it out yet?
Yes.
All right.
He has just released a new album, Funeral. It came out last Friday, so a week ago.
26 tracks or something like that?
24.
24 tracks.
Beast mode.
As a coincidence, the track you should immediately check out is the opening track, Funeral. You get the vibe of the album, and then check out Dreams. I love the track Dreams. Wheezy is not 100% on this one. If you have positive memories of Wheezy, go back. But I will say this. He made his producers and his entire team stop production so he could do one final verse for Kobe Bryant, who helped him release the Carter 5.
Really? I didn't
In
know.
2018. Yeah, he started, Kobe Bryant started promoting it for him in 2014. And so he stopped production, recorded one verse for him. The track is called Ball Hard. Right in the middle of the album, there is a 24-second moment of silence.
Oh, nice.
And so, Cass, what should the people check out in your opinion?
Some of you might know I moonlight as a cook at St. Andrew's Tavern.
A fine cook.
1119 West State Road 436 in Altamont Springs, Florida.
Dropping the digits.
Definitely come by. So we have gone non-smoking recently. So if you ever had an issue with the smoky English pub, we have gone non-smoking. All that smoky smell is out of the bar. The food is fantastic, and actually,
Amazing
The food is so good.
Fish and chips.
I mean,
my
everything
God.
it's, you know what I was thinking about the other day? It's whole food. I watched Nick go back there, and every single thing starts with a pot of onions and some carrots and some garlic.
Thank you for saying that. It is whole food.
Yeah, the guy goes back there and cooks.
Yep.
So it is spectacular food, spectacular drinks, good prices, good people. February 9th, we're going to be having this Sunday the St. Andrew's Crockpot Cook-Off, which a lot of
That'll take a while.
There are a lot of people. Well, so you show up with your dish in your crockpot already. We're gonna have a space for you to plug in your crockpot, and it's going to be free to enter. $5 to become a judge or a taster.
Ooh, I want to be a judge or taster. Wait, is it all vegan or
a judge or taster?
Nice. Well, first of all, always check out my trivia night. I do a trivia night at Orlando Brewing on the 1st, 3rd, and 5th, if there is one, Monday at 7 o'clock. And now I'm doing a new thing. I'm doing bingo there also. So I'll be doing bingo. The next time I'll be there is the 19th, Wednesday the 19th. So you don't need to know no trivia, don't need to know no fancy answers. Just stare at a card and you could win prizes. And the thing I think you should check out is something that just dropped on Netflix right now. Haven't had a chance to watch it just yet, but I'm looking so forward to it. It's called Lock and Key.
Oh,
And
yes.
Lock
Yes.
and Key. It's
Joe Hill?
Joe Hill.
Oh, points!
Which is
Points.
Stephen King's son,
So
right?
Stephen King's son.
I was
A
about to
series of-
say that, you son of a bitch.
a series of graphic novels and being turned into a TV series, and the graphic novels were absolutely stellar, riveting, mind-blowing, heart-wrenching. It's just amazing. So if they get anywhere near it, it's going to be spectacular. So I can't wait. I'm definitely going to be binging as much of it as I can this weekend. So check out Lock and Key. That's dropping on Netflix. And I think that is it for us. We are Fort Fritz. We'd like to thank each and every one of you for listening, but we couldn't do it individually because it would take far too long. Get out of here. We got to live our lives. You need to live your lives. Thank you very much for listening. Fort Fritz on Real Radio 104.
Until next time,
Point one.
pleasant
Pregnant peas.
dreams.